The hype around Mortal Kombat 2 is building fast, and writer Jeremy Slater is clearly thrilled about what fans have been experiencing during early test screenings. He recently shared how some of those reactions reminded him of the kind of energy he saw when Avengers Endgame premiered, a movie that had people out of their seats, clapping, shouting, and fully immersed. That's a pretty bold comparison, but it says a lot about how fans are connecting with this upcoming sequel. So what exactly is going on with Mortal Kombat 2? Well, the movie officially wrapped filming back in January 2024 and is set to hit theaters on October 24th. This new entry, directed by Simon McQuoid and written by Slater, continues the rebooted series that started in 2021. Even though that first reboot brought the franchise back to life, it didn't quite deliver everything fans were hoping for. But according to Slater, the sequel is about to raise the bar in a big way. In an interview with Comic Book, Slater mentioned how the reactions during test screenings were exactly what he'd hoped for. People weren't just enjoying it, they were completely into it. They were laughing at all the right moments, cheering during the big scenes, and basically treating the screening like a major event. Slater called it one of the best moments of his life, saying that experiences like that are why people go into this line of work in the first place. That kind of reaction bodes well for Mortal Kombat 2, especially because the first movie had a mixed reception. While it had some entertaining moments, a lot of fans felt it was missing the essence of what makes Mortal Kombat so iconic, like the actual tournament the game revolves around. Instead, the 2021 film focused more on setting up a story involving Shang Tsung's schemes to eliminate Earthrealm's champions before the competition even started. It also introduced a brand new character, Cole Young, who had never appeared in the games, which left some longtime fans scratching their heads. But things are looking a lot more promising this time around. Not only does the sequel seem to include the tournament that fans have been waiting for, but it also brings in a bunch of beloved characters from the games, like Johnny Cage, Shao Kahn, Kitana, and Baraka. This move feels like a clear response to the criticism the first film received, and it shows the filmmakers are really listening to the fans. Early screenings have helped paint a picture of a film that's funnier, bigger, and more action-packed than its predecessor. According to Slater, the cast absolutely nailed their performances, and the stunt team was the best in the business. That's a big claim, but it makes sense if the goal was to finally create a Mortal Kombat movie that lives up to the game's legacy. It's also worth mentioning that this is Slater's first time adapting a video game for film, and he's clearly a lifelong fan. He talked about how Mortal Kombat was one of those games he had to beg his parents to let him play as a kid. So, his passion runs deep, and you can tell he wanted to do it right. When someone who truly loves the source material is behind the script, it often leads to something special, especially if they understand what makes the franchise work. What's especially interesting is how the film is being compared to Avengers Endgame in terms of crowd reaction. That movie set the gold standard for blockbuster-level emotional payoffs and jaw-dropping moments. So if Mortal Kombat 2 is even coming close to delivering that kind of energy, fans are in for something memorable. It suggests that the sequel isn't just bigger in scale, it's also more emotionally satisfying, with characters and moments that fans can genuinely connect with. And it's not just Slater saying this. Some Mortal Kombat fans who attended those early screenings have shared their reactions online, praising the film's action, story, and overall improvement over the 2021 entry. So even though the trailer hasn't dropped yet, the word-of-mouth buzz is starting to take off. With the release date approaching, it's only a matter of time before the official promotional push begins. Of course, there's always the possibility that fans' reactions during test screenings won't reflect the general audience response, but the signs so far are really encouraging. If Slater's experience is any indication, Mortal Kombat 2 could become the first truly great live-action adaptation in the franchise. That's a big deal when you consider the rocky history of Mortal Kombat movies. The 1995 film had some fun throwback energy and followed the first game's story pretty well, but it was also incredibly cheesy and low budget. And the 1997 sequel, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, was such a mess that it's now often cited as one of the worst video game movies ever made. The 2021 reboot was supposed to mark a fresh start, and while it showed potential, it still didn't fully capture the magic. In short, the franchise has always struggled a bit to make the jump from game console to movie screen. A big part of that challenge lies in the characters themselves. The Mortal Kombat games are packed with wild personalities, bizarre powers, and over-the-top stories. Translating that into live action without making it feel awkward or goofy isn't easy, but the payoff can be huge if it's done right, especially for a franchise that's had such a loyal fan base for decades. That's why this sequel matters. It's not just about delivering flashy fight scenes or cool fatalities. It's about telling a story that honors the rich world of Mortal Kombat while also making newcomers feel welcome. Based on everything we're hearing, it sounds like Mortal Kombat 2 might finally strike that balance. One of the biggest complaints about the 2021 movie was the lack of a real tournament, the central concept of the games. So the fact that Mortal Kombat 2 is putting the tournament front and center already gives it an advantage. And with characters like Shao Kahn entering the picture, the stakes are going to be much higher. In the lore, if Shao Kahn wins the tournament, he can invade Earthrealm, which raises the tension and makes every fight matter so much more. What also helps this sequel stand out is its commitment to expanding the roster with fan favorites. While we don't know exactly how big of a role Cole Young will play this time, the focus seems to be shifting toward the classic characters fans grew up with. That alone is enough to generate more excitement. Throw in top-tier stunt work, better humor, and a more faithful approach to the story, and you've got a recipe for a sequel that could genuinely surprise people. And honestly, it's about time. The Mortal Kombat games have always had incredible world building, fascinating characters, and intense rivalries. All of that deserves to be explored in a live-action format with the scale and care it needs. If the filmmakers have truly tapped into that, then we might finally get a movie that feels as epic as the games have always felt. So even though Mortal Kombat movies haven't always had the best track record, Mortal Kombat 2 seems ready to turn things around. The early feedback is glowing, the cast is stacked with recognizable names, and the filmmakers clearly have a lot of love for the material. If all of that translates on screen, then we could be looking at the best Mortal Kombat movie ever made. In the end, what fans really want is a film that respects the games while delivering the kind of action, drama, and fun that brought them to the franchise in the first place. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Your suggestions for future videos are always welcome in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay in the loop. And if you want, you can share your thoughts about this video in the comments.